Here we go. So I'm very excited for you all to meet our honoree tonight. He's a personal hero of mine, and I also, by the way, if you're new to the Hope Gala, what you're about to see is one hell of an orientation to how Penn State feels about cancer. You all know that we're good at football. We have one hell of an English department you may not know about. Thank you. But I think one of the things that we do that the world doesn't know enough about is our annual commitment to curing and treating, especially pediatric cancer. So surviving cancer, it's impressive once, but how about 4 times before you are 5 years old? Think about it, guys. And the guest you're about to meet is nothing less than a warrior.
At the age of 2, Haas was diagnosed with an aggressive form of sarcoma.
In total, I went through 4 different stints with cancer, twice inside my face and twice in my right lung. I had 2 thoracotomy surgeries, 77 radiation treatments, hundreds of chemotherapy treatments.
But his family has never seen a medical bill, and that's because of a partnership between 4 Diamonds, a childhood cancer research and support organization, and Thon, a Penn State student-run philanthropic effort known most notably for its 46-hour dance marathon fundraiser. Haas has been cancer-free for almost 16 years, and when it came time to apply for college, he says Penn State was a no-brainer. Now a senior, he's a leader in the very same fraternity that looked after him as a kid, Alpha Tau Omega, and he's giving back to kids just like him. 3-year-old Gus Baumgartner was diagnosed with cancer at just 2 years old. 4 Diamonds is paying for the now 3-year-old's treatment.
I don't know how they do it, because it's not even like we get bills and we submit them. We don't get bills, like at all.
Greta Baumgartner is Gus's mom. She credits the support from Penn State and Haas himself for helping carry their family through this battle.
Do you see yourself in these kids?
Yeah. Especially Gus. If you probably put a picture of the 2 of us side by side, 2 2-year-old little boys with bald heads, with so much energy, the love of life. I'm here and now I'm able to kind of get back to the families like Gus.
It's neat to see it come full circle.
What do you want people to learn from you and your story?
There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I went through my journey with cancer for a reason. I'm at Penn State for a reason. It all just ties in itself, like why I'm here and why I have the opportunity to do what I'm doing.
All right. So, first of all, y'all know one of the best things that we do here at the Hope Gala is to give the best welcome ever to our childhood cancer survivors. So we're gonna start by everybody gotta get up out of your seats. Let's all stand. So let's give this guy a real welcome here. So, you know, after the age of 2, when Tucker was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma, something that I see in the ER occasionally, I want you all to know that when we see it, that's usually a moment, and this is a little sort of shop behind the scenes knowledge here, usually what we doctors do when we diagnose it or see it is we all sort of gather each other in a supply closet and we take a second to go like, oh no, because we know that usually that's not going to work out. And you know the reality of the lottery that it is, and that you just didn't get picked for that lottery. But there's somebody in a family who did, and that's all you can do. But Tucker survived, and he's the man. At the time when he was a kid, the 4 Diamonds Fund over at Penn State and the ATO fraternity and the ZTA sorority, 2 Greek orgs. All right, we got some representation here. By the way, they're both the 2 Greek organizations with the highest Thon fundraising totals ever. And we're talking literally now like double-digit millions of dollars as undergrads. more or less, they adopted Tucker, as you saw, and he's made lifelong relationships. And the best part ever is things have come full circle. Now, Tucker is a senior at Penn State. Tucker danced at Don. And after like innumerable radiation treatments and 3 relapses, Tucker is now proudly cancer-free. So, hold on. Yeah. Pretty awesome. All right, high and mighty, we ready? We're gonna blow the roof off the place for this guy? All right, let's do it. Everybody, it is my absolute honor and privilege to introduce you to tonight our honoree, Tucker Haas. Tucker, where are you at, man? Let's go.
Oh, wow, good evening. I usually don't wear a suit or tie when I speak, so this is quite new for me. I'm usually in baggy shorts and a t-shirt at thong. But anyway, good evening. My name is Tucker Haas. I am 22 years old, and I am a senior at Penn State University, and I am, thank you. And I'm very honored to be speaking to you here today. My journey started in 2000. And I was born in July 25th of that year as a healthy child who loved life. However, that love for life was flipped upside down on a snowy winter night in November of 2002. While my mother was rocking me to sleep one night, she found a bump behind my right ear. The following day, we were sent to the pediatrician to have tests done. Pediatrician sent me to the local hospital. The local hospital wasn't sure what it was. They sent me to Hershey, what was then the Hershey Medical Center, to have tests done, and by Monday morning, I was diagnosed with cancer. Little did we know in that moment that the words, "Your child has cancer," would change my life forever. By the time I got to Hershey, the cancer had already metastasized from the right side of my face to the right rib. Doctors began calling it rhabdomyosarcoma and then Ewing's sarcoma. Hospitals were consulted all around the world, and none of them could agree on its origin. So they referred to it as an undifferentiated sarcoma, having the characteristics of several different types. Its rare and mysterious pathology made it very difficult to know how to treat it. What came next was surgeries to remove my 8th right rib, too badly affected to stay, chemotherapy resulting in week-long hospital stays each month, blood tests showing counts so low that infections would soon follow, anesthesia-sized radiation to the side of my head resulting in burns and scars, hair loss, feeding tubes, and much, much more. I was then put into remission, meaning I got to go home and didn't have cancer anymore. Unfortunately, the cancer was coming back, as I only had been in remission for 10 months. Now the cancer was in my right lung. This would be a bigger battle. I underwent a thoracotomy surgery that removed my upper and middle lobes of my lung and endured chemotherapy to no avail. The next plan of attack was a stem cell transplant, where doctors gave me near lethal doses of chemotherapy and then rescued me with my own harvested stem cells. Thankfully, after a month of isolation in my hospital room, I was again cancer-free. While my stem cell transplant felt like the answer, and it was for the 6 months that I was in remission, the cancer would come back in the remainder of that same lung, and I went through oral chemotherapy and more radiation, which again put me in remission for 1 year. Until it came back for the 4th time to the same right lung. The best option was again surgery, but this time it would be much more involved. While I was in surgery, laying on the hospital bed, fast asleep from the anesthesia, the surgeon came out to the waiting room to inform my parents that the cancer was in both the upper and middle lobes of my lung. They gave my parents 2 options. Option 1 was to remove both lobes and I would likely have spent the rest of my life on a ventilator. Or option 2 was to close me up and go back to radiation. They chose 2, as they couldn't bear the idea of me being alive, but truly never being able to live. This was the hardest decision that my parents ever had to make. I went through 31 more days of radiation, now totaling to 77 radiation treatments. After what was a 5-year-long battle, on February 12th of this year, I was celebrated being 16 years cancer-free. Even though I am cancer-free, my journey is far from over. Cancer is giving me lasting side effects that I will face through the rest of my life. The radiation burned the right side of my face, resulting in a scar, loss of hearing in my right ear, and some of my vision in my right eye. It also caused damage to my teeth where they removed the entire top row, and I had to even relearn how to eat. The thoracotomy surgeries removed my affected rib and 2/3 of my right lung, making it much more difficult to breathe. The removal of the lung gave room for my spine to shift to a 63-degree curve, and daily back pain, which will result in upcoming scoliosis surgery. The chemo affected areas of my entire body to where I had a neuropsych test to see how much it affected my brain. I'm sure there is much more that will come. While there is a lot of physical challenges that I have endured and continue to face in my post-cancer journey, that is not what cancer has affected the most. Through all of the effects of cancer, my mental health is what has affected me the most. Living with the thought that I should not be alive today is something that is always in the back of my mind. Knowing my parents had to plan my funeral makes the thought of my future often scary at times. Despite all of the physical and mental challenges, 20 years ago I never thought that I would be in the position that I am today. Last month I was able to complete my full circle journey and dance in my 20th thon. While the reason I'm here today is to share my story with cancer, my goal is to do much more than that, as I want to be a public speaker when I grow up. Cancer has given me a different outlook on life. It's an outlook that I strive to share with others in hopes to inspire them to overcome their obstacles. While my story may be a bit longer than others, we each have a story to tell, and we each have a story to live for, and that's truly why I'm here. I ask that when you leave today, you take a few things away from my speech. I would like to challenge each of you to talk. The T is for thought. Each day, I challenge you to spend time in thought. Think about where you have been, think about where you are right now, and think about where you want to be in the future. The U is to be unique. Throughout my life, I have spent so much time trying to find a place in this world by changing how I've dressed, talked, and acted. But I have learned that I am much more happier just being me, and so should you. When you are yourself, the people that are meant to be in your life will truly be there for you. The C is for courage. I challenge you to have courage by doing things that may be out of your comfort zone. I have spent so much time hiding from situations that have frightened me, but with the more and more that I have put myself out there, I find that it is way worth doing. The K is to be kind. I found that this world is a cruel place at times. Living with the effects from cancer, I've been judged, I've been teased, and I've been left out. We all have a story worth living, and you never know what is happening in someone else's story. Cancer has taken many things away from me, and it will continue to as life goes on. But what cancer has given me truly outweighs those. Not many people can say that they are living out their dreams, but I certainly am. For that, I am eternally grateful. Cancer does not define me, but it has helped shape who I have become. Until the day we find a cure, let's keep fighting for one. Thank you again for allowing me to speak today. For the kids always, thank you.